and they, and it traveled the world. Is this a setback? I mean, how should we be looking at this?
So, a lot of big questions. Here's how I try and think about it. Let's think about China's growth, right? So for the longest time, China was a giant export platform for American and other multinationals. That started to change over 10 years ago. It's still export dependent, and that about a third of its growth depends upon exports, but it's way down from where it was. Also, a decade ago, there was much, much more saving in the economy because it was an economy in transition. It may be communist in name, but it had no socialist institutions to protect people. You were pretty much on your own. And because of that, there's a very high rate of savings. What China has been trying to do for the past 12 years, with a reasonable degree of success, is make the economy much, much more connected and consumption dependent. Now, one of their greatest weaknesses is they don't have the dollar, we do. And therefore, they have capital controls, which means the capital can come in, but it can't easily leave the country. In 2015, there was a bit of loosening of those controls and nearly $1 trillion left the country. And this is part of what brought Xi to be the Xi that he is today. Because what that signaled was the entire Chinese investor class would rather live in Malibu than anywhere in China. And if you open it up, they're gone, right? But when you close that down, there's nowhere else for that capital to go except stay in China and circulate in China, right? And China's a big, big, bloody economy. So in a way, if they turn inwards, because they're kind of open to the outside on their terms, but protected on their terms, it's a bit like, the analogy would be like the United States in the New Deal period. You go off of gold, right? You focus on domestic consumption, and you basically power your own growth, and then you worry about the rest of the world later. My sense is that's what China is going to try and do. Now, it can do that, again, because, if you will, its growth model, how it grows, is under the control of a very large state apparatus. It has the Communist Party to call on. So let's think about what the Communist Party does. I mean, when you lock down a whole city and you have to organize food distribution, basically takeout for like 4 million people, who do you think's doing the delivery? It's not Deliveroo, it's the Communist Party, right? So they're able to basically energize their cadres and get these things going, and it's a campaign and we're going to do this. And whether you like it or not as an individual is completely irrelevant. The fact is, we can't get enough testers.
Right.
They don't have a problem with testers, right? So there's a lot of resilience in that model, even if there's a lot of problems with it, right? What's the American response to this? Well, it's been on the downhill for a long time, as we know, for multiple reasons. And to a certain extent, even if Biden was president tomorrow, you're not going back to the type of relationship that China had with Obama. But there is something peculiar about this particular moment when you've got Pompeo basically jumping up every day and shouting about China and the conspiracy theory of the lab and the virus and the whole 9 yards. This is blame avoidance on an epic scale. So, I imagine China looking at this going, look, we've all got troubles. We could either be cooperative or we can be horrible about each other. If we're horrible, you're just calling me names. It doesn't really matter. I'll just get on with my own shit. What are you going to do? Right? And it seems that our main thing is to shout out China.
And that's just because of the complete failure of, right. And, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, though. I mean, this predates Trump. This is not just about his management style. Right. I mean, the American healthcare system is an incredible disaster.
Can you talk about that?